Good morning, everyone. My name is Michaela, and I'm the lead branch supervisor at the Kincardine branch of the Bruce County Public Library. Today, we're pleased to host Phillip Craig from the Nuclear Innovation Institute, joining us for today's science program. Phillip is the NII Explore director, and one of his many jobs is to bring awesome science activities to our communities. Please feel free to leave comments or ask questions here on the YouTube channel, and we'll answer them as they come in. Also, please let us know what you thought about today's programming by filling in the short survey. You'll find the link in the description below. And I am now very excited to turn it over to Phillip.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be an amazing week of science. We are going to be doing so many fun things, but you know what? Let's just get started. Let's get right into it. For today's experiment, you are going to need 4 things, okay? You're going to need a plastic bottle, like an old pop bottle. You're going to need some uncooked rice, and you are going to need a pencil, and if you have one, it's going to make this way easier, a funnel. So once again, for today's experiment, we're going to be needing rather a bottle, some rice, a funnel, and a pencil. A pen will also work, just something that we can fit into the bottle like this, all right? So as we're going through, we're going to be talking about friction. We're going to be doing an experiment that's all about friction, but we're not going to get into that quite yet. The first thing we're going to do, while you guys are assembling your materials, we have a short video of another really cool science thing in our area, and that is the Bruce Power Visitor Center. So I visited the Bruce Power Visitor Center with a special young lady, and we want to tell you all about our adventure. So let's take a look.
Phillip and Greta's science adventure. We're gonna explore. We're gonna explore. Phillip and Greta's science adventure. We're gonna explore.
We're here at the Bruce Power Visitor Center. There's something really cool in this building, and that is these bikes. Now, these bikes are special because if you pedal on them, they actually produce electricity that keeps the lights on. So, Greta, let's make some electricity. You're really tired now, and we only pedal for maybe like 3 minutes. Imagine if you had to do that all day, every day, just to keep the lights on. That'd be really hard. Now, essentially what we were doing, if you did that all day in your house, couldn't get off to eat, couldn't get off to sleep, couldn't get off to go to the bathroom, you could power your house, but you couldn't do anything else. So we're lucky that we have Bruce Power and other big power plants like this to produce carbon-free electricity so that we can go out and do other things.
All right, so that was one small part of Greta and I's adventure at Bruce Power Visitor Center. Keep watching throughout the week, and so we do kind of a whole bunch of different experiments, and we learn all about the stuff that they have going on over there. So we're going to get going into our experiment. So once again, you're going to need your bottle, you're going to need your rice, you're going to need your funnel, and you're going to need your pencil. Now, what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be talking a little bit about friction. Now, friction is a force that's all around us, okay? It happens when one thing is sliding across another thing. So even when you're like walking, like you couldn't walk without friction, because when you walk, your foot is like pushing against the ground. So just to experiment, I want everybody watching to put your hands together. Okay, put your hands together and just slowly start to rub. Rub your hands like this. Don't push hard, and you don't have to go real fast. Just rub your hands together, okay? And then if you start running a little faster and you start pushing a little harder, you'll start to feel your hands getting a little warmed up. And then if you're pushing really hard and go really fast, you're gonna find your hands get really, really warm, okay? And that is because there's friction being created. Friction between your hands is being transformed into heat, and that's getting your hands all warmed up, okay? So we do that friction, or we feel that friction in our hands, but also we just feel that friction all the time as we're walking, if you're like play a sport and it's going along the ground. Friction is what causes that ball to stop, and it's all about when one object is making contact with another object. Okay. Now we're going to get into our experiment. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if it works for you or if it doesn't work for you, I want you to let us know in the chat. And then if you have a question, I'll be sure to answer it. Just let us know there. All right, I'm going to go, boom, just over here. Oh, hey, guys. And then we're going to do our experiment. All right, so I have everything I need here. I have my rice, my bottle, and my funnel, and my pencil. So what we're going to do now, I want you guys to take your rice, and this is where the funnel comes in really handy. We're going to pour it into the bottle, okay? So I want you to pour it into the bottle, just like that. Oh, isn't that such a relaxing sound? Yeah. I feel like I'm in a spa. So once again, we have our rice. We're going to pour it into the bottle, and we're going to fill that bottle all the way up with rice. All right, so we're going to fill it all the way up so there's no space left in the bottle. All right, 1, 2, 3, done. Good. All right, so right now, oh, whoopsie daisies, making a big mess. Right now, you can see my rice is all the way up to the top, all the bottle. So I'm going to put my pencil in, and I'm going to slide it in, and then I can pull it right out. I can pull it right out, but you know what? That's not what we're supposed to be doing with this experiment. This experiment is actually, we're going to be able to put this pencil in, and then pull it, and instead of pulling it out, it's going to get stuck in there, and the whole bottle's going to come up. But right now, as you see, put it in, pull it right out, not sticking at all. So the reason why that is because between all of these little particles of rice, all these grains of rice, there's some air. Okay, there's air, and what we need for friction to work is we need a lot of the rice to be pushing up against the pencil. Okay, now you may not notice it when you feel a pencil because it feels very smooth, but if you put a pencil under a microscope, you would see that the edges are actually pretty wavy, okay? And rice is also, it's the same thing. It feels pretty smooth right now, but if you look at it real close, you get real close and personal and really examine it, you'll see that it is actually pretty wavy too. So what we need is to get the waves of the pencils and the waves of the rice kind of stuck together, okay? So how do we do that? Well, you can see my bottle is right full to the top, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of bang it on the table, really kind of smush it down, and all of a sudden, oh, you can see that there's about this much space opened up. So we're going to grab some more rice and we're going to fill it right up to the top. Right up to the top. Try not to spill a whole bunch like I did last time. Good. And you really want to cram as much rice into the bottle as you can. All right? Just like that. Boom. Science is messy, and we're feeling it today at NII. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our pencil and really try to shove as much rice into that jar or into the bottle as we can. And then we're going to take our pencil, we're going to put it, kind of shove it all the way in, all the way in. And then, because there's so much force up against the pencil from both sides, or from all sides. The rice is pushing in, and the grooves of the rice are matching up against the grooves of the pencil. I'm hoping that when I pick up this pencil, I'll pick up the whole bottle, right? So we're gonna see if that works. I don't know. It's supposed to work. We'll take a try, and if it doesn't work, then we'll try something else. It's called experimenting. That's what science is all about. So we're gonna pick up the pencil, and the whole bottle comes up. And now this is actually pretty heavy. There's a lot of rice in here, and I can hold it just by holding on to the very tip of the pencil. The very tip of the pencil. Now, if you guys are at home and you're giving it a shot, what we really want you guys to do, see if you can make a recording, see if you can maybe get your mom or your dad to record that. And if you put that on our Instagram page, which is at NII Explore, you might get on tomorrow's show. We're gonna feature people who did the experiment. So once again, we'll put that in the chat for you, our Instagram link. It's at NII Explore. But once again, we have all of the rice. It's squeezing up against the pencil. And what that is creating is all the ridges on the pencil and all the ridges on the rice. They kind of get bonded together, and they get stuck so they can't move. So much so that even the molecules of each, they kind of get a little mixed together. But then as you pull them apart, it takes all that energy, they kind of flip back into place. And that can even create heat, like when we're rubbing our hands together, and also sound, that kind of vibration of them going back into place. Which is why sometimes if you like drag your nails across the chalkboard, okay, that means like what's happening is your nails, they have the friction of the chalkboard, and it's causing a vibration, which creates sound, which we're going to talk about that tomorrow, actually. So once again, we have all of this rice, and it's holding that pencil in there so that when we pick up the pencil and the rice, boom, it all works beautifully. Okay? If it worked beautifully for you, make sure you take a little picture, or maybe take a video and put it on our Instagram page. If it didn't work for you and it created a big mess, also put it on our Instagram page and apologize to your parents for it. Deal. All right. We're going to head back all the way over to camera one. Michaela, did that work the way you thought it was going to work? And do we have any questions in the chat?
I just thought it was so cool. I didn't think you were going to be able to pick up a whole bottle with a pencil, and then you did. That was really cool to see that theory worked out. I don't have any questions in the chat yet, but if you have any questions for us, just let us know and we'll ask Phillip.
You know what? That is A-okay if we don't have too much in the chat yet. But what this does lead us to is it leads us all the way to the poem of the day. Now, the poem of the day today is all about friction. It's all about friction and how we can pick up that bottle of rice. So I'm going to put on my poem scarf. Let's read the poem of the day. So the poem goes a little something like this. The poem goes, why can we pick this bottle up with a pencil just like so? Why doesn't it go crashing down to the floor below? Why does why does the rice not fall with gravity's mighty pull? And why does it matter if the bottle's not quite full? Well, this is not a fairy tale, nor is it a case of science fiction. This is simply just a demonstration of the mighty power of friction. And that has been our poem of the day. You gotta get the poem of the day in because it keeps the library people happy. Michaela?
It does.
Yeah? There you go.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I do have a question from the chat. One of our viewers wants to know, would this work with a pen?
Would it work with a pen? Yes, it will work with a pen. Absolutely, it will work with a pen. It will actually work with anything, essentially, that's about this shape. Now, what you might find though is a pen, especially if it's a plastic pen and it's really smooth. Smooth things create less friction than things with ridges. Okay. Now, pencils, they feel pretty smooth, but they actually have, if you run your fingers along the side of them, you'll actually feel like, okay, there's a few little bumps there. And pens, depending on what pen you use, might be a little bit smoother, but it will still work with the pen. Yes. I will actually try this out. I was using it and seeing if I could get a really, really big bottle and fill it with that. And I could even do one with like a hockey stick, but it was a really big bottle. So I've done that before, but it was tricky. It got pretty heavy because there was a lot of resin involved. So great question from the chat, by the way. Oh, I got that.
Very cool. And I do have some comments as well.
Oh, yeah. What do you got?
Yeah, we've got people who have been trying the experiment. Some people say it works. Some people say not working here, but they're using pre-cooked rice.
Oh, the pre-cooked rice. That'll be an issue. Yeah. So when you pre-cook the rice, it loses some of its like rigidness. So it's getting a little soft and squishy. So if you cook the rice, we apologize. We should have said uncooked rice. That one's on us. So we really apologize about that. If you are using pre-cooked rice, try to use uncooked rice. That's a little bit harder because pre-cooked rice, it's a little squishy. And you don't want squishy for this. You want something nice and hard, nice and tough. That's good. But Michaela, you said some people did find that it worked? Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it because, man, wouldn't have that been embarrassing if it worked for anybody? That would have been no good. So what we did, this isn't the only thing you can do with friction. We also did a few other experiments with friction about seeing how fast things can slide down. Now, I want you guys to remember everything we talked about when we talked about what causes friction, and when we talk about the ridges. So like pencils, they have little bumps, so that creates something for the rice's little bumps to kind of grab onto. Now, the smoother the thing, the less friction. So we're going to play a little game, and we're going to see if you guys were paying attention for a little segment I like to call my science buddy Beckett. Jeremy.
Hey everybody, I'm here with my science buddy Beckett, and we're going to do a science experiment about friction.
Hi.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We are going to be using this ramp to talk about friction. Okay, we have two tunings, and we're going to put one on the top with the plastic, and then one on the top with the sandpaper. And then we are going to drop them and figure out which one will get to the bottom of the ramp first. Okay? Beckett, do you know which one you think will get to the bottom first?
I'm guessing it'll be sandpaper.
You guys, we're going to give you a chance to decide at home what you think will be faster. The tuning on the plastic or the tuning on the sandpaper.
All right, so we had, we saw that the tuning was there. It was on the sandpaper and on the plastic. Now, I want you guys to let me know in the chat, what do you think will happen? Will it be, will the sandpaper tuning, will it go down first? Or will the plastic tuning, will it go down first? So we're gonna give you guys a second. Michaela's gonna is gonna let me know what everyone in the chat is saying, and we'll go from there. All right. All right. So, Michaela, did we get any responses, or are people at home thinking real hard? That's okay. We okay? Oh, a couple things are coming in, so that's great. Michaela, do we have anything in the chat? What do people think? Is it going to be the tuning on the sandpaper or the tuning on the plastic that will go first? Everyone's saying plastic. All right. Well, we're going to check this out. We're going to see which one goes first, the plastic or the sandpaper. And then we're going to queue up our next one, and we'll see if we can do that one as well. All right. Roll that film.
Beckett, I need you to count me down.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, look at that! Plastic definitely won. So for round 2, we have wood against aluminum foil. Beckett, which toonie do you think will hit the bottom first? The one on the wood or the one on the aluminum foil? The aluminum foil. All right, so Beckett says aluminum foil. Let's see what you guys at home are thinking.
Three, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, tinfoil, clear winner there. You said that you can feel which one you think is going to win. Which one do you think is going to win? The wax paper?
Yeah.
Is it bumpy or is it smooth? Smooth. Well, you heard what Beckett said. Let's see what you guys at home have to say.
Okay, so it looks like okay, so we're now at what's going to happen? We have the wood on one side and the aluminum foil on the next. Okay, so which do you think? Let us know in the chat which toonie is going to get to the bottom first. Is it going to be the one on the wood or on the aluminum foil? Once again, hit me up in the chat. That way we'll be able to see. We'll see if you guys are getting it. Who's paying attention at home? Is it going to be the aluminum foil or is it going to be the wood?
It's unanimous. It's aluminum.
People are thinking aluminum.
Yeah,
All right.
Everyone says aluminum.
All right. You know what? Everyone's saying aluminum. Jeremy, let's show them.
3, 2, 1, fire!
Oh, the wax paper with the win. Yeah, I didn't know about that one, but that was very close. But the wax paper, Beckett, you were right. It feels a little bit smoother, so there was less friction.
I told you.
All right. So yeah, you guys were right. Absolutely, it was the aluminum. But now this is the hard one. This is the hard one because we have wax paper on one side, and newsprint on the other. Now I'm not sure if you've ever felt wax paper, and I'm not sure if you've ever really felt newsprint, but they feel very close to seeing what is smooth, which one is smoother, which one is kind of slicker, which one would make a better slide. All right, so I'm going to open up to you guys in the chat. This is probably the hardest one. The other ones, those were softballs. They were real easy. Michaela, what do people think?
Let's give a moment for these answers to come in.
Oh, they've already seen the answer to this one. Oh, no problem. No problem. Yeah, that's okay. A little technical difficulties here. But yeah, you saw that the wax paper, it just won. It was super, super close. So close that we actually had to go into slow motion for it. But that is okay. We made it. Yeah, so the wax paper, it scooted down. And the reason why the tinfoil and the wax paper and the plastic, the reason why they were so much faster is because the other ones, they were bumpy, they were rough. And what that does is that creates a lot of surface for the toonies to kind of get caught and stuck, and they weren't able to really move or flow that smoothly. So when you have something that's really smooth, if you think about this, this is kind of what you see on your playground, and this is kind of what you see, like on slides or things like that. Yeah, you always want things that's really smooth so you can slide down and not catch yourself on them or not create any of that friction. Okay? Now, that's pretty exciting. If you guys want to recreate that experiment at home, it's pretty simple. All you need is just a little ramp and different types of materials for you to slide really any coin down or really anything down. It all works. If you want to do that, once again, put that up on our Instagram page at NII Explore, because we would love to see it. All right. Other things we love to see is Michaela at the Kincardine Library. Now, Michaela, I hear there's lots of fun stuff happening at the library. Can you tell us more about it?
Absolutely. So, as you might know, it's March break right now, and one of the things that the library has going on is Bookopoly. So Bookopoly is something that runs all month. It's a reading challenge. You can pick up a game board at the library, fill out as many categories as you can on our Monopoly game board, and there are categories like pick a book that's read, pick a book that maybe pick a comic book, something like that. And then you can return your Monopoly board with all the categories to enter a draw and win a prize. Something special that's happening in Kincardine downtown is that we have a story journey. This story journey is a story that's broken up into different pieces, and it can be found all across the Kincardine downtown here on Queen Street. So it starts at the library and it goes up the street and then back down the street. It's called Bear Moves. So see if you can find the whole story, and that's running this week at the Kincardine Library. And of course, it's never boring at the library, so we have board games. You can check out our branches to find online games and activities, as well as the board games that we have in our collection. So we have all kinds of fun things, including an escape room for families that's going to be happening online. And then while you're checking out all the cool books for Bookopoly, I also want to share some of the stuff that we have in our libraries that you might not think of at first, because they're not books, they're not movies. They're things like our robots. So I brought out the Ozzobot. If you've never used an Ozzobot before, this is a great time to go to your library, check it out, and borrow one. They're really cool, and they are a cool way to practice coding. I also wanted to share one of my favorite things that we have in the library. If you want to learn a new skill this March break, why not try the ukuleles? I'm not a great ukulele player yet, but I think if I borrow it a few more times, I could be. And I will hand it back to Philip to close out the day.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I love board games. I'm a big board game guy. If you're a big board game person, once again, let me know in the chat which board game you guys like. I'm a big Settlers of Catan guy. I like chess and Candyland. Just to mix it up, you gotta throw it in. Michaela, what's your favorite board game?
That's a good question. I like Clue, and I am always Professor Plum.
That checks out. When I saw you, I said, now that's a lady who's a Professor Plum, for sure. Yeah, that's great. One other thing, Michaela, I'm going to ask you, do you guys have snowshoes at the library?
That's true. And we just had to snowfall on the weekend, so you better get those snowshoes while you can.
Yeah, so yeah, something that you may not know, snowshoes at the library, so you can take advantage of our, hopefully last big snowfall of the year. Get a little snowshoe. Sorry, what was that, Jeremy? Yeah. All right. So what we're going to be doing, we are going to be wrapping up for today. But before we leave, I want to prep you guys for what's happening tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about sound and all of how is sound created? Why are some things loud? Why are some things quiet? And why are some things a high sound? And why are some things a low sound? So we're going to be covering all of that tomorrow. So you're going to need a few materials. Okay. So you're going to need some tape, some scissors, an empty tissue box. So if you've been doing any sneezing, that's okay, because we're going to need that box anyways. A ruler, and maybe a paper towel roll, and some elastic band. Okay. So once again, tape, scissors, elastic bands, empty tissue box, a paper towel roll, and a ruler. Now, if you're like, ooh, Philip, I didn't get all this stuff. We have all of the supply pages and things like this. You can find this online on the library, Bruce County Library Facebook page, as well as the NII Facebook page. So feel free to take a look there. We may even post a link to that in the chat if you just hold on a little bit. Okay, so tomorrow is going to be sounds. Wednesday, we're going to be talking about air pressure, which is going to be a super cool experiment. I hope you're excited about that. Thursday, we're going to be talking about density and how some things are more dense than others. And then Friday, we're going to be talking about making things, why do some things stretch and why do some things bounce? We're going to be making our very own bouncy balls using a little bit of chemistry. So I hope you guys are excited about that. All right, that is it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed making our friction experiment, defying the laws of gravity. And yeah, that's it. I look forward to seeing you all soon. See you tomorrow.